How's everybody doing? We're continuing with our series, The Damage of Compulsory Mandated Education. And I want to speak a little bit about how the learning process took place in the primary education system, if you want to call it that. If you look at the etymology of the word educate, it means to take out. So somebody thought that the Creator didn't do a good job in sending embodied spirits to this planet called Earth. And this is what happened. In elementary school, uh, if you remember, we were told to listen. Okay, class, everybody listen. It continued in middle school. All right, we're beginning to get started. Listen up, everybody listen. It continued in high school. Listen. College, same thing. The professors talked. Everybody sat and listened. So, here we are today. If you didn't get it in school, possibly college, the military, or prison, you got it. You're going to learn one place or another. So, what we didn't understand, and some still don't today, because that was locked in our mind, to listen. Well, that's 1/3 of the lesson. The earth is the classroom. Learn of it. Lesson. Listen. You learned 1/3 of what should have. Meaning, when you talk, converse, and or communicate, and I mentioned all three, but the goal is to communicate. Talking at each other, conversing at each other is not communication. Talking with one another could lead to communication. Conversing with one another could lead to communication. In order to really get it, when one of those three things, talking, conversing, communicating, is taking place, you got to do three things, not one. You have to listen, you have to hear, to understand. So it's listen, hear, understand. So in talking to people today, you don't know if you're reaching them because very few people know that those three things have to go on simultaneously in communication. You're communicating when that takes place. If you don't do those three things, particularly in your formative years, if you don't learn them, you're lost. Now I'm going to say it again. If you don't do those three things, listen, hear, and understand, in communicating, talking, conversing with people, if you do those three things in talking and conversing, you're communicating. It's a two-way situation, not one way. You may need to ask a question to gain understanding. If you just listening and you don't hear, you won't understand. Now, this is where we are today. People want to talk about, well, what can we do to change what's going on? You got to go back to the basics. It's a lot of work because listen, hear, and understand, that's just one component of about 83. The problem is very few want to do the necessary work to cover the damage that was done. Just think about that. Seek me out. Let's talk. Because there are a lot of things that need to be corrected before we can correct the major things. You must know the basic fundamentals of life in order to correct what we see happening. We're dealing with the greatest manipulators in the world and don't know it. Some do. But my question is, when are people going to stop acting like they don't see what's going on? I know you don't think you can do anything about it, but the power is within to make correction. Peace, light, and love to you and yours.